Another day, another story. The story's name is In the Search of Peace and Happiness. Life gives you a lot but not everything. It also gives wealth, fame, and honor, but you are deprived of peace. If it gives comfort, then it does not give many facilities, and a person keeps getting worried and restless by searching and worrying about these comforts and remembering them. Therefore, it can be said that the gifts of life have their measure and principle, who they make king and who they keep poor. Whom it treads deep in the earth and whom it gives the heights of the sky. Life is a life that has its special procedure. This story is also about a man who has everything but no peace and is traveling around the world in search of peace. Once upon a time, there was a wealthy man named Alexander. Alexander was a dedicated businessman and was always focused on success. He had a strong work ethic and was always looking for ways to grow his business. One incident that demonstrated his dedication was when he had to make a major business deal with a company in a different country. Even though he was feeling unwell, he didn't let that stop him from making the trip. He knew that the deal was important and could bring his business to new heights. He successfully closed the deal, but he fell ill shortly after returning home. He spent several weeks in bed recovering, but as soon as he was well enough, he was back to work, eager to see the results of his efforts. Another incident that showed his dedication was when he had to make a tough decision about laying off some of his employees. He knew that it was the best decision for the business, but it weighed heavily on him, as he had developed personal relationships with many of his employees. He met with each employee individually, explaining the situation and offering them severance packages. Despite the criticism he received from some employees and the media, Alexander stuck to his decision, knowing it was the right thing for his business and the future of the company. These incidents showed that Alexander was a man of great dedication and resolve, who would stop at nothing to achieve success in his business. He had all the luxuries one could imagine: a successful business, a high bank balance, expensive cars, and chartered boats. But despite all his wealth, Alexander was not happy. He felt a deep emptiness in his heart and could not find peace of mind. If a man has everything but one thing, then he works day and night to get it and wants to make up for the lack of that thing at any cost. Alexander thought the same and so decided to do it. He tried everything he could think of to fill the void. He went on exotic vacations, threw lavish parties, and surrounded himself with people who worshipped him. But nothing seemed to bring him lasting happiness. So, he decided to go on a journey to find peace of heart. He tried hard with his surroundings, but when he couldn't find comfort and peace, he set out to find it around the world. Alexander traveled the world, from one country to another, searching for the answer to his unrest. He visited holy shrines, talked to wise men and women, and learned about various philosophies and religions. But still, he found no peace. He went wherever he could and did whatever he could, but nowhere did his search end. But one day nature had to take pity and Alexander had to get his precious destiny, and he had to get the greatest reward of his life, i.e. peace, and finally, he got it. One day, as he was walking through a crowded street, he came across a beggar who seemed content and at peace despite his poor circumstances. Alexander approached the beggar and asked him how he could be so happy despite his difficult life. The beggar smiled and said, "My peace comes from within. I do not depend on material possessions or external circumstances to bring me happiness. I have learned to find joy in simple things and to be grateful for what I have." In the small talk of the beggar, Alexander had achieved everything, and it was by finding peace in what was achieved, by shedding his ego and sinking into himself, that he became identified with his true self. The more he runs, the more he will run. Find satisfaction in what you have and don't worry about finding more. Alexander was taken aback by the beggar's words and realized that he had been looking for peace in all the wrong places. He went back to his luxurious home and began to practice gratitude and mindfulness. He focused on enjoying the present moment and found that the more he appreciated what he had, the happier he became. He realized that we are everything and within us lies peace and restlessness. Now, if you want, get peace or continue to be restless in search of that peace. Real happiness lies in knowing yourself and not in stumbling. Eventually, Alexander found the peace of heart he had been searching for. He learned that true happiness cannot be bought with wealth, but it is something that comes from within. He lived the rest of his life in peace, contentment, and joy, and always remembered the lesson he learned from the beggar. After traveling around the world and gaining experiences, Alexander has found peace, and now he truly understands that peace and happiness are found in the attainment and not in the pursuit of the unattainable. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more stories.